As an entrepreneur, you're probably using a lot of Zoom because it's a very powerful communication technique. But there's some hidden secrets that can help you to tweak it and make it that much better to increase your people that are watching and to really enjoy the experience. That's what we're going to cover on this episode of Agorapreneurs.
Welcome to Agorapreneurs, standing for liberty and freedom, all done peacefully. Now, here is your guide, TerryBrock.
Hi, I'm TerryBrock, and welcome to Agorapreneurs, where we talk about how you can live the liberty-loving lifestyle of freedom and liberty without initiating force and coercion, and do it as an entrepreneur. And in this particular video, we want to get real nitty-gritty with something that's important, and that is using Zoom. How you can use this wonderful video conferencing called Zoom that's quite popular today, and be able to use that to reach more people, to create more business, and to serve your existing customers. And to do that today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the screen where we have Zoom up here and running. Notice my smiling face there. It looks very similar to what I've got right now because I'm in the same place. And using my microphone is positioned right here. But I want to show you some tricks that you can use so that you can start putting it together and do some techniques with your Zoom production that not everybody is doing. Here's something you can use right off the bat that is going to help you as you get into it. Notice on the screen here, we're looking at the start video and the unmute. Obviously, you know you unclick those so that we remove the red slash and it shows your video on there, and that's good. However, over to the side, look at this. There's a little carrot right there and one there that has some really good information for you. We're going to take a look at the video side on this one, and subsequent videos that I'm putting together for you, you'll get a chance to see the real jewels over here and some of the audio as well. And right now, let's click on this. And when we do, notice what you see on the screen. You see these choices here for the different cameras that you'd want to select. Well, there's a lot of cameras that are available, and I'm using a few different ones in my setup. You'll want to select the one that is most appropriate for you there. Then there's also a virtual background, so like the green screen, but a virtual background you could do if you have the right processor on your computer, even without a physical green screen there. Very nice. And you can choose a video filter, gives you some extra features on that. We're going to cover those in a bit. But the key right here is video settings. When I click on that, notice what it does. It takes me in here, and I'm seeing several different features. The one we want to look at first is General. When we look at General, it's got some really nice features to it. Start over here. If you're using dual monitors too, then you can put that in there. Click on that. Full screen when starting or joining a video. I usually like to leave that unchecked because you wouldn't want to come in and take over everything. Just come in there, be part of it, see what's going on. Copy the invite link when starting a meeting. You can see that and give it to other people. Usually you can get that another way if you want. But ask me to confirm when I leave. That one's important. That's because you might accidentally leave when you hit a key and you go, oh my goodness, I just dropped out. So you want to make sure that one is clicked on there. Show my meeting duration. I kind of like this one. It gives you a timer that's in the upper right corner of your screen, let you know how long you've been on. So you can say, hey, you've been on here a little bit too long, or oh, we got a little bit of time left, no problem. Add Zoom to my Mac OS. This, of course, for my Macintosh. If you're using Windows, it's going to be a little different. I use that on there. It's a default, and we just leave it there. Stop my video and audio when my display is off or screensaver begins. Sometimes we'd want to do that. Often you would. I choose to not do that just because I want to keep it going, and I can go back and eliminate it there. You can get reminded when it's coming in, and select your themes here. Do you want that to be these? I would suggest you experiment, see which one is best for you. And your reaction skin tone. I like the idea they give you a choice, and take a look at the diversity that you might want to put in there. Real handy features. Now let's take a look at the video settings that are within Zoom for you setting up your cameras, and other details are going to be very helpful there. Notice, first of all, you're going to look at the camera you have, and you can have several that are available. I'm using the USB camera here in this case, but I could also use some other cameras that are available from time to time and put those in there. Enable HD makes a lot of sense if you can get a little bit better resolution that way. Also, we have My Video. Now, here's a handy one. It's called Mirror My Video. When you do that, you get a chance to flip it. Try that on your own to see what it's like. I think you'll find it to be very interesting, how you can mirror the image. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. And this one here is really good. I think they put it in there just for me. This is one called Touch Up My Appearance. You know, I've never found anyone that said, I don't need that. And I know I certainly do. But you can adjust this. Notice I've got mine cranked up all the way to the maximum. Go over here. You just adjust that. It adjusts some of the ways that you appear on the screen. Test this one and have some fun with it. Adjust for low light, leave that on the default position. Most of the time you'll want to do that, but if you want to change, you can change it to auto or manual, whichever you want on that. I find that the auto usually works well. Always display participant name on their screen. This is a good idea so that you make sure that people are who they say they are. Sometimes they might not want that. So it's okay. If you're in a group where you're meeting and you know everyone, then you can do it. But if you've got a group where you're going to wonder, hey, maybe some others could come in, you want to avoid Zoom bombing. And that's another video that we have. But Zoom bombing would be something you want to avoid. And by leaving that on, you'll be better off. You can also here turn off my video when joining a meeting. I think that's usually a good idea because sometimes when you come in, there might be a couple things that you don't have quite right or you want to adjust this or that. So have the video off. Then you got a chance to look around and go, okay, now turn it on. I just find that's kind of handy. Always show video preview dialog when joining a video meeting. That's the default, and I think that's pretty good to leave it there. Hide non-video participants. Now that can be handy if you're doing a video where you're going to have one person on the screen. Another one is there to monitor, but they don't need to be seen. That would be real handy to have. And so that's where you would use that one. Spotlight my video when speaking. Usually a good idea. Whoever is speaking, you want to say, hey, let's put a focus on them, like here on me. And then finally display up to 49 participants per screen in gallery view. That's a newer feature that they've added in more recent versions of Zoom, and it gives you the ability to see more people on the screen. Before, the default was 25. So you could see 25 people. The picture would be a little bigger, but often if you have those groups where you've got up to 49 people, you want to see a little bit more of who's there. Nice little feature to have. And finally, we want to take a look at the audio settings. It's often been said that audio is the most important part of video. And that's true, because if your video isn't quite as good, but they can hear you and they're getting the information, they'll stick around. If they can't hear you because your audio is breaking up, just messing with you there. If it's like that, then people are going to check out, because if they can't hear it, they're probably going to check out in most cases. So you want to make sure it's available for you. And I want to show you a few little secrets and handy tips that can save you a lot of anguish and grief. First of all, when you click on the audio here in the settings, we'll move this up here a little bit. When you click on the audio here on these settings, you'll notice that we've got the text test speaker. This is really good to just make sure you can still hear. You're going to hear their voices. Do a test on that and make sure your output volume is okay. You might need to adjust that a little bit. And you could use a separate audio device to play your ringtones simultaneously. That's more advanced. Most of the time we won't need that. But if you do need it in some cases, then it would be good. Then here's a real important one. Real important. Microphone. Test your mic. Be sure and do that. Notice I'm using the Yeti stereo microphone, and as you can see, I'm recording right now. My input level is going back and forth. This is what you want. You want it in the green mainly. Occasionally it might get up a little bit higher, but then it's going to be okay. You want it to be in there in the green range is where it should be. And you want to play it back. Here's why that's important. Because when you are recording, when you're on air, you're not hearing your sound the way they are. And that's really important. So you want to do a test. Here's an example. Suppose you got a 10 o'clock meeting coming up. Get on there and do a test way before that. 8, 9 o'clock before it would be good. That way you've got time to make some adjustments. Check your levels. Make sure they're coming across well, and know that you can adjust that back and forth. Here's one that I would not recommend you use: automatically adjust microphone volume. I've found that when I do that, sometimes my volume will go down when I don't want it to, or it'll go up too high. I like to have control, but you do some testing and find out how this works in your situation. Here's another one: automatically join the computer audio when joining a meeting. Yeah, that's a good idea that you join with the computer audio. You don't have to go in and say, yes, I want that each time, or use a telephone. By default, you'll be using the computer audio. Another one here: mute my mic when joining a meeting. You know, I like to do that. And the reason I like to do that is because you just never know what might be going on around you that could be disruptive. You don't want a microphone interrupting when a new person comes on board. People could be in the middle of a serious discussion. They're trying to solve a big problem, and here comes somebody bouncing and going, hi, everybody, hey, how you doing? Stop, okay? So make sure that muted microphone is in effect when joining the meeting. Press and hold space key to temporarily unmute. That's pretty handy. You can just tap your space bar, It unmutes you or mutes you again. Very easy to remember and easy to tap versus clicking over there on that unmute button. Finally, sync buttons on the headset. I guess that could be nice in some cases. It's the default, so I'm just going to leave it right there. Well, that gives us the 3 modules to get started here with the general and the video and the audio settings when you are using Zoom. Hey, go for it. I compliment you on taking time and effort to go and learn this and see how you can take your notches and move them up. Yeah, let's move those notches up, get better all the time in video using Zoom. Hey, I'll look forward to hearing from you. And if you like this video, be sure and subscribe, because here we're going to be doing many more videos on Zoom and other audio features that can really help you. Here at Agorapreneurs, we're all about serving you, you entrepreneur who believes in the Agora lifestyle of peace and voluntarily living. I'm TerryBrock, and I'll look forward to hearing from you.